Let us continue solid state. In the solid state, we started discussing questions, numerical questions. Now we will see NCERT sum of the questions, then we will continue that subjective type of numerical questions. Okay. In the NCERT, page number 4, we will take, in the page number 4, question number, in-text question 1.3 we will take. In that, what they asked means some compounds they have given. What are the compounds means polyurethane, one compound. Next compound is naphthalene. Next one is benzoic acid. Next one is Teflon. Next one is potassium nitrate. Next one is cellophane. Next polyvinyl chloride PVC. Next one is fiberglass. Next one is copper. These solids are amorphous or crystalline? It is a question. Sir, which is amorphous? Amorphous in the sense glass, rubber, plastic. These are amorphous. Remaining are crystalline. Okay. First, polyurethane, plastic, therefore amorphous. Benzoic acid. Teflon is a polymer, therefore amorphous. Potassium nitrate, cellophane is polymer, therefore amorphous. PVC, polyvinyl chloride is polymer, therefore amorphous. Fiberglass, it is a glass, therefore amorphous. Remaining are what? Crystals. Naphthalene crystals, crystalline. Benzoic acid, crystalline. Potassium nitrate crystals, crystalline. Copper metal, crystalline. Like this we have seen. Okay. Next we will take page number 6. Question number 1.6. Page number 6. Question number 1.6. This question is some compounds are given. First compound is potassium sulfate. Then compound is tin. Then benzene, urea, ammonia, water, zinc sulfide, next graphite, rubidium, next argon, next silicon carbide, Okay. These substances given. What is the question means? What is the nature of intermolecular force in these substances? It is a question. What is the nature of intermolecular forces? Okay. First we will see potassium sulfate. Potassium sulfate contains K plus ions and sulfate ions. So it is ionic compound. Ionic compound means electrostatic force of attraction. Ionic compound means electrostatic force of attraction. Okay. Is there any other ionic compound? We will see zinc sulfide. We can write Zn2 plus S2 minus. So zinc sulfide comes under ionic compound. So here what is the force of attraction means electrostatic force of attraction, ionic bonding. Okay. So like this we said these are ionic compounds. Okay. Next is what means tin. Tin is a metal in the sense metallic bonding. In the metal what is possible means metallic bonding is possible, that is intermolecular force. Then benzene, urea, ammonia, water. Rubidium is a metal, therefore we can say metallic bonding. Here what is possible means metallic bonding. Okay. Graphite, argon, silicon carbide. Okay. Metallic bonding we say. Next we will see benzene comes under what? That we will see. Sir. Now we will take we have taken benzene. For benzene is a molecule. Benzene is a molecule. For this, net dipole moment is 0. Therefore, it is a non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecules means what is the intermolecular force of attraction means that is called instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole. Now understand it. Between non-polar molecules, among non-polar molecules, the intermolecular force is instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole. Okay. Next, we'll take a next example. We'll take polar molecules. We'll take polar molecules. Polar molecules means net dipole moment is not equal to 0. Net dipole moment will be there, so that these molecules exist as dipoles. So in these molecules, intermolecular force is dipole-dipole attraction. Okay, this is polar molecules. Next one is hydrogen bonding. Next one is hydrogen bonding. Okay, these are called, these three cases. First case non-polar molecules, second case polar molecules, third case hydrogen bonding cases. These cases are coming under molecular solids. Okay, now we'll see benzene. We have taken benzene. Benzene comes under which category in the sense net dipole moment 0. So non-polar molecules. Non-polar molecules means van der Waals force. Van der Waals force means instantaneous dipole. Instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole. That is possible. Okay. Urea not non-polar. Ammonia not non-polar. Water is not non-polar. Graphite not non-polar. Argon. Argon is what in the sense it is an atom. Therefore, it is non-polar. So it is coming under which category in the sense it is coming under instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole. Okay, it is coming under this category, argon. Next we will see urea. Urea is a polar molecule. It is having net dipole moment. Polar molecule means we have to say dipole-dipole attraction. Ammonia is having which category means hydrogen bonding. Ammonia coming under which category means hydrogen bonding. Water also hydrogen bonding. So, graphite and silicon carbide will see. Graphite is what? Silicon carbide is what? That point we'll see. In the graphite, if you see, graphite, the carbon atoms, graphite contains carbon atoms, one carbon like this, another carbon, third carbon, next carbon, next carbon, next carbon, next carbon. Carbon atoms, how they are connected, see. Carbon atoms, how they are connected. Like this, it continues. It goes on continuous. And all the sides, continuation is possible. All the sides like this continuation is possible. Therefore, this is what means it is polymer. This is polymer. In this polymer, what bonds are there? Covalent bonds are there. So that we can say it is a covalent or network solids. Network solids. Covalent or network solids, it is a polymer. In this polymer, in all the places, what bond is there means covalent bond is there. Covalent bond is there. It is the intermolecular force. Intermolecular force is what means covalent bond. Next one is silicon carbide, SiC. How SiC is there means silicon comes under group 4. Silicon comes under group 4. Therefore, its valence shell contains 4 electrons, so it can make 4 bonds. Then we will take carbon. Carbon comes under group 4. So this valence shell contains 4 bonds. It can make 4. It can make 4 bonds. Sir. So in silicon carbide, how the bonds are there? We will see silicon makes 4 bonds. Carbon makes 4 bonds. Okay. Carbon as well as silicon both make 4 bonds each. Like this will be there. It will continue like this. So it is a polymer. In all the places, what bond is there? Covalent bond is there. Therefore, silicon carbide also coming under covalent or network solids. Here, what is the intermolecular force means covalent bond is the intermolecular force. Next, NCERT, page number 21. Page number 21, question number 1.15. So, in the NCERT, page number 21, question number 1.15. Okay, question number 1.15 will see. In this 1.15, what is given means HCP given, hexagonal close packed structure. Now, in this hexagonal close packed structure, what is asked means total number of voids in 0.5 mole of compound. 0.5 mole of compound is how much? Then how many tetrahedral voids are there? How many tetrahedral voids? How many tetrahedral voids are there? It is the question. So in this question, the compound is forming HCP. The compound compound is how much means 0.5 mole. In this 0.5 mole, what is the total number of voids and how many tetrahedral voids? It is a question. Sir, now HCP will take. Here given is HCP. In HCP, each constituent particle which forms HCP lattice as one octahedral void and two tetrahedral voids. So totally three voids. Okay, it is a concept, remember it. In HCP, each constituent particle has one octahedral void, two tetrahedral voids, totally three voids. Same point possible for even FCC. Okay. Now we will take a 0.5 mole. So we will convert this into 1 mole. We will convert. Instead of each particle, we will take now 1 mole. Now we will take this is for 1 mole. It is 1 mole means this is 1 mole. This is 2 moles. This is what means 3 moles. Now here given is 0.5 mole. So we will divide this by 2. So we will convert this into 0.5 mole. Divide this by 2. Converting into 0.5 mole. Divide this by 2. So 1 mole. Divide this by 2. So 1.5 mole. Okay. So total number of voids means how much? 1.5 moles. So total number of voids how much means 1.5 moles. Convert into number. So mole you multiply by Avogadro number. So total number of voids we got. Now they are asking about tetrahedral voids. Convert this into number. 1 mole is equal to how much? Avogadro number. This is total number of tetrahedral voids. Okay. Next question, page number. Let us continue. Next, page number 22. Question number 1.18. In the NCERT page number 22, question number 1.18 we will take the question. In the question, what is given means element is given. Element is having molar mass. That is 2.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2 kilogram per mole. It forms a cubic unit cell. Edge length is given. Edge length is how much means 405 picometer, and density is given. Density is given, that is 2.7 into 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube. Now the question is, what is the nature of cubic unit cell? What is the nature of cubic unit cell? What is the nature of cubic unit cell? It is a question. So now we will see how to find it. Here what is given? Density given. What is the formula for density? Density is equal to Z m by a cube into Avogadro number. Z is called number of constituent particles per unit cell of lattice. M is called molar mass. A is called edge length. N naught is called Avogadro number. D is called density. Now we know density. Density is given in SI system. Okay. Now regarding Z, Z is equal to 1 for simple cubic. Z is equal to 1 for simple cubic. Z is equal to 2 for body centered cubic. Z is equal to 4 for face centered cubic. Z equal to 6 for HCP, hexagonal close packed. So they are asking what is the nature of cubic unit cell. What is the nature of cubic unit cell means if you know Z, then only we can say nature of cubic unit cell we can say. So we want Z. Regarding molar mass is given in SI system. Molar mass is given, okay. Then edge length is given 405, convert into SI system, that is 405 into 10 to the power of minus 12 meter. So we know edge length and Avogadro number we know, so we can find Z. Okay, let us substitute these values and you get it Z. Z is equal to how much means 4, therefore it is what means FCC. Okay, so this for this answer is Z is equal to 4. It is coming under what category? In the sense FCC category it comes. Next we will take page number 29, question number 1.19. It is page number 29, question number 1.19 we will take. So in text question page, question number 1.19. Okay, what is the question? We will see. What type of defect can arise when solid is heated? Okay, we are taking a solid. This solid is heated. Due to this, what type of defect is created? What type of defect is arised? Which physical property is affected by it? Which physical property is affected due to this? And in what way? Why is it so? Why is it so? It is a question. Sir, solid is heated. Due to that, what type of defect we are getting? Which physical property is affected and why is it so? In the imperfections of solids, in the two places we come across heating. In the three places, one is impurity defect. Second one is heating the crystal in the presence of alkali metal vapors. Third one is just heating. Okay, so in which cases we come across like this? One case, in impurity defect we have considered heating. Second one is second example, what means sodium chloride is heated in the presence of sodium vapor. In this place we have seen. Third category we have seen zinc oxide is heated in the hot condition, yellow color, cold condition what means colorless. In the three places we have seen regarding heating in imperfections of solids. Impurity defect means which impurity they have to say. They did not say about impurity, so we will leave impurity defect. Second category regarding sodium vapor is not taken. Alkali metal vapor is not taken, so we will leave second category. Third category we will take. What they said, just solid is heated. So third category we will take. Okay, so we are considering third category. Okay, third category we will discuss. So zinc oxide will take. Zinc oxide solid consists of zinc ions, oxide ions. So zinc oxide solid consists of zinc ions and oxide ions like this. Okay, like this is there. This is what means colorless. It is colorless in cold condition. It is heated. What will happen? What happens means understand it. In this oxide, in this oxide loses 2 electrons and becomes oxygen gas and goes away. Therefore, suppose this oxide if you take, it is losing 2 electrons and converting into what means oxygen of oxygen, which is gas which goes away, like this happening. Okay, so that we will say. So we will write remaining thing Zn2 plus oxide, here oxide, zinc, oxide, zinc, zinc oxide, zinc and oxide ions, here oxide ion, here zinc ion. In this place oxide is there, that oxide is converting in, that oxide leaving electrons and going out as gas, the left electrons going to the interstitial site and occupies. Okay, then this zinc ion is not getting anion, therefore this zinc ion leaving this original place, original lattice point and goes to interstitial site neighbor to these electrons. Okay, now these electrons are absorbing energy and go to excited state. When they come for de-excitation, they emit color. Due to that color, it is having what color in the sense yellow color. In what condition means in hot condition. Now in this case metal ion is excess, therefore it is called metal excess defect and excess metal ion occupying interstitial site. This is also called non-stoichiometric defect. We can say like this, and it is exhibiting a color. We can say color is due to these 2 electrons. In the cold condition, what happens means this crystal returning back to like this. Therefore, in cold condition, it is colorless. We can say. Now we will go for exercise questions. Now we will go for exercise questions. NCERT exercise question we will take. In the NCERT exercise questions, 1.3 we will take. 1.3, question number 1.3 we will take. Sir, in the 1.3 question, you see that classify each of the following solids as ionic, metallic, molecular, or network or amorphous solids. First one is what means a tetraphosphorus decaoxide P4O10. This P4O10 is called what means P4O10 comes under which category? It is coming under molecular solids. It is coming under what category in the sense molecular solids. Molecular solids. And it is amorphous. Amorphous we can say. Second we will take ammonium phosphate contains ammonium ions and phosphate ions. Therefore, it is coming under ionic solids. Ionic solids. This is coming under crystalline solids, not amorphous. Next, silicon carbide, we have discussed that it is covalent solids or network solids. It is what means network solids or covalent solids. This is coming under crystalline solids. Crystalline solids. Next, iodine. Iodine comes under which category in the sense non-polar molecular solids. Non-polar molecular solids. Iodine we will say crystals, therefore it is crystalline solids. Next P4. P4 is non-polar molecular solids. P4 is non-polar molecular solids, crystal like iodine. Plastic is what means it is a polymer in the sense network solids. This is what means network solids. Network solids. It is amorphous It is amorphous. Amorphous means glass, plastic, rubber. Graphite comes under network solids. Network solids. And here what bond is there means covalent bonding is there. This is what means crystalline solids. Brass is metal, therefore it is metallic solids. Metallic solids and it is crystalline. Next we will take rubidium. Rubidium comes under metallic solids. It is a metallic solids. It is called crystals. Next we will take lithium bromide. Lithium bromide is ionic compound. It contains ions, Li plus ions and Br minus ions. It is coming under which category means ionic compounds. It is crystals. Ionic compounds, crystals. Silicon is coming under which category? Silicon, how it is there means silicon present like this. Silicon present like this we can say. So that it is network solids. It is what means network solids. It is polymer and it is crystalline solids. And it is what means crystalline solids. Network solids, crystalline solids. We can say regarding this silicon. In silicon, another one is there. Amorphous silicon also there. Amorphous silicon also present. Okay, if you take like this, then crystalline we can say. Next we will take 1.16 we will take. 1.16. Question number 1.16 we will take. You see that 1.16 analysis shows that nickel oxide has a formula like this. What fractions of nickel exist as Ni2 plus and Ni3 plus ions? Okay, sir. Now we will take nickel oxide. In the question, one mistake is there. This O should not come. Okay, this O should not come here. Sir, this O should not come. This, therefore, what is the formula means nickel 0.98 O1. Okay. Here they said that nickel exists in the form of Ni2 plus and Ni3 plus. So we will write Ni2 plus ions, comma Ni3 plus ions. This is how much means 0.98 and O is 1. Next we will say charges. We will say charges will say oxygen is 2 minus, therefore it is 2 plus. Net charge is 0, no, electrically neutral, no. All the imperfections are electrically neutral. All the defect solids are electrically neutral. Okay, so it is 2 minus charge means here charge is 2 plus, total charge is 2 plus. Now we will take Ni2 plus. Ni2 plus how many means X number of ions. Then Ni3 plus how much means 0.98 minus X number of ions. 0.98 minus X number of ions. Total is 0.98. Okay. Now this X number of ions we will multiply with the charge. Then we will get total charge due to that total charge is 2x. Then we will multiply this with this plus 3. We will get total charge 0.98 minus X into 3 is equal to what? Total charge means 2 plus. From this what we can get? We can get X we can get. We can find it X. Now what they are asking, what is the fraction of nickel exists as Ni2 plus? Sir, fraction of Ni2 plus we'll see. Fraction of Ni2 plus is equal to number of Ni2 plus ions, that is X, by total number of ions, that is 0.98. Total number of ions 0.98. It is giving fraction of Ni2 plus. Next we will see fraction of Ni3 plus. We will see fraction of Ni3 plus, that is equal to how much means number of Ni3 plus ions. Ni3 plus ions how much means 0.98 minus X. 0.98 minus X by total number of ions. Total number of ions is 0.98 regarding cations. Total number of ions means cations. Okay, this gives fraction of Ni3 plus ions. Okay, next we will take 1.19. 1.19 we have taken. In this 1.19 you would see ferric oxide crystallizes in a hexagonal close packed array of oxide ions. Okay, so here oxide forms HCP. As per this, oxide forms HCP. So Oxide forms HCP means oxide occupies what? Corners. For HCP, how many corners means totally 12 corners. For top hexagon 6 corners, bottom hexagon 6 corners, so totally 12 corners. Corner will give 1/6 share for HCP. Okay. Then face centers. Face centers, how many means 2. Which face centers means top hexagon 1 face center, bottom hexagon 1 face center, totally 2 face centers. Face center give half share. Plus second layer between top hexagon and bottom hexagon, center B layer will be there. That B layer gives 3 particles as a triangle, that will give full share. This will give 6 per unit cell. Per unit cell of HCP. Per unit cell of HCP, 6 oxide ions are there. Next, we will continue second line. With 2 out of every 3 octahedral volts occupied by ferric ions. Sir, two-third of octahedral voids, occupied by what means Fe3 plus ions. Two-third of octahedral voids occupied by Fe3 plus ions. Sir, regarding octahedral voids, we will see now. Regarding octahedral voids, each oxide has 1 octahedral void and 2 tetrahedral voids in HCP as well as in FCC. Okay. Each oxide has 1 octahedral void. Here how many oxide ions? 6. So 6 oxide ions means 6 octahedral voids. In that, how many are occupied by ferric ions? 2/3. Therefore 2/3 ferric ions. Okay. Now you simplify this. What is the formula you will get? You see, oxide is 6 times, ferric ion is 6 into 2/3. So the ratio is what means Fe2O3. Next, 1.24. Next we will see 1.24. We will see 1.24 we have taken. This aluminum crystallizes in a cubic close packed structure. That means FCC. Okay. So aluminum undergoes what structure means FCC. FCC means per unit cell contains 4 aluminum atoms. Per unit cell contains 4 aluminum atoms. Okay. Its metallic radius is 125 picometer. Okay. What is the length of side of unit cell? Okay. What is given? Radius is given. By giving radius, what they are asking means edge length they are asking. Length of side of unit cell means what? Edge length. That's all. Sir. For FCC, what is the relation between edge length and radius? That we will see. Now we will take one phase. One phase we will take. In the phase, what are the particles are there means center, phase center will be there. It is phase center particle. These are corner particles. It is one phase. In FCC like this will be there. Okay. 4 corner particles and 1 phase center particle like this is there. Sir. Now we will take from this point to this point. We will take from this point to this point. We will take from this point to this point we have taken. Is it forming a triangle or not? You see, it is A, it is B, it is C. Now, for this triangle, we can say AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square, we can say. Okay. AC means what means? AC means what means 4R. AB is what means edge length A square. BC is edge length A square. Okay. So square root is there. Square root, these squares are there. In order to remove these square roots, we will write like this. So 4R is equal to square root of 2A. Set. So we got now we will substitute radius. This radius we will substitute here. We will get edge length. Set. So now 4 into R is called radius. Radius is 125 picometer. So 125 into 10 to the power of minus 12 meters. Square root of 2 into A, we will get A. A is called edge length. So first one is over. Now second one we will see how many unit cells are there in 1 cc of aluminium. 1 cc of aluminum contains how many unit cells? Sir. Now, per unit cell contains how many means 4 particles. Per unit cell contains how much means 4 particles. Okay. Per unit cell contains how many means 4 particles present. 4 aluminum atoms present per unit cell. Sir, per unit cell volume is A cube. So A cube means 1 unit cell. A cube means 1 unit cell. A cube means edge length. A means edge length. If you cube edge length, you will get volume of unit cell. So A cube volume contains 1 unit cell. Now what is given? 1 centimeter cube is given. So 1 centimeter cube contains how many unit cells? That is the question. Okay. Here how many unit cells are there in 1 cc of aluminum? For that we will take 1 unit cell. We will take 1 unit cell volume is edge length cube. We know edge length here. That edge length cube is called a volume of 1 unit cell. Now 1 unit cell volume is A cube. So for 1 centimeter cube, how many unit cells? That we have to calculate. For 1 centimeter cube, how many unit cells? Okay. So when you are calculating, remember that here we got A value in which unit means meters. But here centimeter is given. Okay. So during calculation, see that all the units in same system. Then you calculate it. Okay. Here edge length we are getting in meter. So when you are substituting, when you are coming here, substitute A in terms of centimeter, then you proceed. Otherwise, convert this into meter. Okay, sir. So this is about NCERT questions. Next, in the next class, we will continue subjective type of numericals in the solid state. We will complete the class.